People are leaving their home country and they're starting a new life over. It's currently 2026. Hello, everyone, and I don't want you guys to get left behind for this year. A lot of things have changed in these last few years, even from 2025 to this new year in 2026. And you'll be surprised at the countries that people are quietly leaving and relocating to, especially number 4 and 5. It will surprise you because it's one of the countries we talk about often on this channel. Welcome. For those people who are new, my name is PayMeInPaella. I make travel-related content, and I talk about relocating on a regular basis. I am currently in the process of relocating myself. I've been to about 17 countries. So I'm going to give you the countries that people are quietly leaving, why they're leaving, where you could go, is there digital nomad visas, how can you go, etc. We're going to start by number 1. Of course, you see the background, USA. So people are leaving the USA at a rapid rate. They have never seen this before. They're going to countries such as Thailand. Costa Rica is a popular one. Surprisingly, Mexico is actually very popular amongst a lot of Americans, not just people of Mexican ancestry, but people of other backgrounds as well. It's the same time zone. It's cheaper. There's certain medical things you can get over there that you can't get over here. So it is a popular destination. But with all that being said, I want to go to the second spot, right? So we talked about America, and shout out to Google Gemini. I've been going crazy with Google Gemini. Italy. Yes. I was wondering for the longest. I was like, I noticed this trend. I got a lot of viewers from US, UK, and then my third or fourth was like Italy. I'm like, why am I getting so many viewers from Italy? I did my research and I found out, yes, people, young professionals in Italy are trying to relocate. They want to leave. They're tired of the pasta. They want something else. There's a little bit of sarcasm, but they seriously do want to leave. No one ever gets tired of pasta. But Italy, unfortunately, is one of the countries that have been hit with economic downside in these last couple of years, along with Greece. But for some reason, people weren't leaving Greece as a rate. But Italy is one of the countries where people are leaving. Yes, beautiful Italy. You see the pictures. Imagine this, right? Look at this. I mean, it's a beautiful country. Like the way the water looks, everything is just fantastic. Good food. You never hear anyone complain about the food, but surprisingly, people are leaving Italy. And we're going to get to the why here shortly. But this next one is going to blow your mind. I promise you. Guess what the next one is? Japan. That is correct. The cherry blossoms, the amazing customer service, the low cost of renting an apartment, the efficiency, all the good things you hear about Japan. The hospitality of the people, the respectfulness, the safety. How many other countries are as safe as Japan? But the safety, even with the safety, people are still leaving. Yes. Bye-bye Kyoto. Bye-bye Osaka, Nagoya, Tokyo, Okinawa, all the cities. Young Japanese professionals are looking to relocate. That is correct. You are not hearing a typo. You're not hearing me mispronounce. This is how it is. We're going to get to the why here shortly, but first I want to give you guys the country list. Next, we have Pakistan. A lot of people, well, a lot of Americans, I should say, don't know too much when it comes to Pakistan, but I'm here to tell you it's not what the media may portray. Now, we can get into this in another video, but surprisingly, a lot of people from Pakistan are leaving. I did notice personally when I was in Malaysia that I did come across quite a few people from Pakistan as well. Next, we have Nigeria. Someone told me as a joke, they said, Nigeria is like the China of Africa. What they mean by that is you can go to any corner of the world and you're going to see Nigerians. Brazil, Colombia, Japan. Like now you see all these half Japanese, half Korean babies. It's because all the Nigerians that are moving over there, right? You can go to Asia. You can go to North America, Central America, South America, etc. They might have some Nigerians in Antarctica. The Nigerians are kind of like the Chinese, how the Chinese are in Asia. That's how they are in Africa as far as, relocating, looking for economic opportunities, etc. So you see a lot of Nigerians around. Shout out to Fufu red pepper stew, igusu soup. I love eating that. Yeah, so that is one of the places that people are leaving. The next is France. France? What? Yes. This is a country that a lot of Americans want to tour. They want to visit. They want to try the food. They want to go to Nice. They want to see the water, touch the greenery, take a picture by the Eiffel Tower. But surprisingly, France is in the top 5 countries that people are relocating from. Native French people are leaving France at an alarming rate, going to countries like Thailand, going to countries like Canada, going to countries like the U.S., especially on that West Coast there. You're going to see a lot of French people on that West Coast. Shout out to California. So this is a very surprising list. I'm pretty sure you can guess the next one. I'll give you a hint. Some people say it's the European version of America, or that, we branched off from them. We're similar, et cetera, et cetera. We both love French fries. We call them French fries. They call them chips. It's none other than the UK, the United Kingdom. Shout out to all my people that I've been talking to from the United Kingdom. Shout out to Hani. Shout out to Hamza. Shout out to all the people that I've been talking to from the UK. Met some cool people online and offline from this country. But yes, that is correct. People are leaving the United Kingdom at an alarming rate. This is one of the places that people are leaving. As you can see, it's kind of like similar to America as far as the culture and how there's a lot of people who want to relocate, maybe move to Asia, etc. It's considered a Western country, just like us. But we want to know why this is all happening, right? So earlier in the video, I shouted out Google Chrome. Why do I do that? Me personally, I prefer Google Chrome over ChatGPT. I've actually been investing in Google stocks, and I think that may be a good option for you as well to invest in some Google stocks, because I believe they're going to be and when it comes to 2035, I believe they are going to be at the top of this AI war. So I do believe that they have a bright future in AI. But with that being said, let's go and look. So the United States, this is the first country we mentioned, right? There's the golden visa, right? So people are leaving to countries like Portugal, Italy, Panama, where they can get the golden visa. The golden visa is essentially you invest X amount of dollars, whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks, whether it's in a bank, and we'll give you residency and or citizenship in our country. One of the popular ones people was going to for the longest was Portugal. Portugal did recently make a change, though, because they upped the price. Before, a couple years ago, I want to say it was about $250,000, 300,000. Now I think it's 400 to 500 euros to buy a house and go that route. And then also they changed it because a lot of people were moving in, not only from America, but from other countries. You've seen the videos online. So it used to be only a few years as far as that route and getting citizenship. They upgraded it now. I want to say it's between 10 to 15 years to actually get full citizenship. So they're making it a little bit harder, which is unfortunate, because Portugal was on my list of places I wanted to check out. I've heard nothing but good things about it. And I met some cool people from Portugal as well. I may actually be going there very shortly. It's a surprise. Cannot confirm or deny. Stay tuned. But let's go to the next places, right? We also spoke about Italy and Japan. Let's see what Google Gemini has to say about this. It says, Italy. Young graduates are leaving for Germany or the UK, where wages for the same roles can be 30 to 80% higher. Remember what I said earlier about the economic situation? It says here, Italian officials have warned that this silent brain drain is depriving the country of talent needed to innovate out of its debt. Remember, there's a lot going on with Italy and Greece as far as the economic situation. We wish for the best, but we just got to be realistic. So why are people leaving Japan, right? Well, it says here, Japan, behind the well-documented population decline, there's a quiet migration of young Japanese professionals to Australia and Canada, of all places. What? Okay, I can see the Australian thing, because I have, especially with Koreans, I've met a lot of Korean Australians, surprisingly. It seems like that's a new wave for them. It used to be the west coast of the States, but now it seems like a lot of them are going out there. But they're seeking better work-life balance and higher pay, away from the rigid salary man culture, right? The brain drain. Pakistan and Nigeria, these nationals are seeing a catastrophic loss of human capital in 2026, specifically in the healthcare and tech sectors. But I want to go deeper into this. So I asked I asked Google Gemini, not ChatGPT, why? Can you give me reasons? So then they go more into detail. For the United States, obviously it's the cost of living, right? The average house in the United States is currently about 400,000 nationwide. But instead of paying that, why don't you go to Malaysia? Why don't you go to Thailand? Why don't you go to Vietnam, where your US dollar is going to go a lot further? In Da Nang, Vietnam, they are currently building, excuse me, excuse me, George Clooney, is investing in a Nobu high rise in Da Nang. Currently, the units are about 180,000 roughly, right? It's set to be open in these coming years, but 180,000, you can be right there on the beach, and it's a brand name, right? You know, so the Italian, obviously they're leaving because stagnant wages, the economy, etc. You see all that. We got Japan, and they're talking about the burnout exit. For anyone who's never been to Japan or Korea, I applaud them for things they do as far as moving their economic situation further. But it does create a lot of work, right? They work very hard and very long hours. So it says here there's a rigid work culture in Japan. Despite government efforts to promote work-life balance, the traditional salaryman culture remains stifling for many young professionals. Then we have economic stagnation. The weakening yen has made working abroad, especially in Australia, the US, significantly more lucrative. By the way, the reason why the tourism is spiking in the last couple months in Japan is because two reasons. One, the tourism was down, and two, the yen was at a low rate. So if you come from somewhere like Canada, USA, UK, the US dollar goes a little bit further over there than it did in the past. So now's a good time to visit Japan. I was actually going to go in March, but I decided to go a different route to as far as Asia. The good thing about Japan, they do have a digital nomad visa. So this made me want to ask Google Gemini about this, right? So for Pakistan, we got the brain drain. Nigeria, we got security, governance, career growth, etc. So I asked about the digital nomad visa. So you see in this question, Nigeria does not offer a digital nomad visa, but it's a tech-savvy population that's one of the most active in applying for digital nomad status in countries like Portugal and Canada, right? So I asked each about these digital nomad. Japan has it. Pakistan, unfortunately, doesn't have it for all those people interested in Pakistan. Italy has it to an extent, right? And then we have the United States, which at this moment doesn't have it. But most of you are probably watching this from the United States. So these are the places that people are currently leaving. But I did want to ask about these reasons because I'm like, let's dive deeper into this. I want to actually go to official websites, right? I do trust LLMs for information. But if I see the information from multiple websites, then it's going to confirm to me what's really going on. So there's a change in marital status, right? Which is causing people to relocate at a higher rate. What does that mean? In our generation, there are more single men and women than in any previous generation. This is one of the main reasons why populations are declining in Japan, UK, Australia, USA, Korea, Canada, etc., etc. A lot of Western places, or even certain places in the East, right? Like Japan and Korea, they're having population issues as far as people not making enough babies, people not getting married enough, people not staying together. Everyone's being single. Sometimes they're hooked up, sometimes they're not. But this is causing people to relocate, right? They're looking for a partner or they're looking for better economic situations. It just is what it is, right? So this gives a general reason, a great breakdown as far as the graphs. It talks about the housing, family, employment, etc. I remember meeting a young lady when I was younger, and she moved from Florida to Ohio. And I asked her, why did you move here? And she said, well, what do you think? What are the two reasons that people mostly move for? And I was like, probably either relationship or more money. She said, there you go. She said she moved there for a relationship. So that being said, this is going to determine a lot about how people go forward, right? We have a single epidemic. People are more lonely than ever before, and they're willing to go to great extents to find a partner. It just is what it is. Now, I wanted to be specific, and I said, why are Americans leaving? Yes, I do care about other people, but me being American and me having a high American audience And when I satisfied my audience, I said, let me look for some information that's specific to Americans. So I went to this website. It's not a sponsorship, by the way. It's not a partnership. It's not a brand deal, nothing. I just happened to go to this website. And it says global mobility and jurisdiction flexibility. A second residency or citizenship gives people the ability to move, invest, and invest and operate internationally. This flexibility is particularly important for families with cross-border business interests or international lifestyles. I read a book. Matter of fact, I actually have the book right here. Let me get it for you. And once again, this is not a sponsorship either. I just happened to read a really good book that someone recommended it to me. I will say this book uses a lot of big wording as far as it's not really good as attention grabbing as a book like Think and Grow Rich. But this book right here, The Sovereign Individual, it talks about a lot of these things. So this book was written years ago, and it talks about a lot of these things that are happening now. It predicted a lot of things as far as digital currency, people relocating, and cross-border work, right? So it talks about in this book from years ago how people are going to take strategic advantage of the opportunities if they can make their local currency but live in another country that's cheaper. So this book predicted a lot of this stuff. Before the term digital nomad was around, before social media was around, before digital currencies and crypto and making money over the internet was even a thing, that book predicted it. So shout out to Charles who recommended me that book. If anyone else has any recommendations, I'm open to it as well. But let's get back to it, right? So we talked about global mobility. That's the ability to earn currency in different countries. So if you're interested in I can give you the name of the author and all that stuff. Just let me know. Hit me up either on IG or leave a comment down below. But tax exposure and wealth structuring considerations. While relocating alone does not remove U.S. tax obligations, which that's extremely important to point out to you guys. A lot of people think they move overseas, make this American money and never have to pay taxes. As long as you are a citizen of the United States, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you do not want to denounce your citizenship, you, to an extent, have to pay taxes. It just is what it is. So consult with a tax professional. Look into that legal situation. Don't make any mistakes. Don't think just because you're in Thailand on the beach, you're not going to have to pay any taxes. They got you. Family security, lifestyle planning, legacy, and success motivation. This is a hidden one that a lot of people don't talk about. Because when it comes to relocating, you have to think about your future children. So when people say, when they say legacy, they're not just talking about you, they're talking about your offspring, your children's children, your future endeavors for your family. Is it a great move to move abroad and get a second citizenship? I would argue yes, because you're opening up a lot of doors for your future children. Now it says here specifically, a second nationality can provide heirs with broader opportunities for resident education and global access in the future. Extremely important. We are citizens of the world, not citizens of one nation, right? Lower cost of living. In countries such as Portugal, Panama, Costa Rica, many Americans find that housing, healthcare, and daily expenses are significantly lower than that in major U.S. cities, while still enjoying comparable or improved standard of living. Beautiful. I 100% agree. I 100% agree with that. You can find definitely a nice lifestyle there, right? Now here, they talk about the top 16 easiest countries to get citizenship in 2026. I want to make sure y'all are on the right path, right? So, with that being said, we're going to look at some countries where you can get citizenship allegedly the easiest. And then later on, we got an article about UA resident permit without relocating. Is it possible, right? Because that's something I was interested in. I was actually going to do that with Portugal because at one point you only had to live there. I think it was like 4 weeks out of the year and you can move towards residency. But they're changing all that now. So let's get straight to it though. What are the easiest countries? Citizen by investment. We talked about that earlier, kind of similar to the golden visa, etc. Citizen by investment. Descent. So for example, there's certain countries that are very specific about this. Like Italy, I've been told that if you don't have Italian blood, you'll never be 100% citizen. So, but if you can prove you got Italian blood, even if it's your grandfather that you never spoke to, you can move towards citizenship, right? So naturalization, which is pretty much being born there, all that type of stuff. We talk about the golden visa, blase, blase. This is all stuff we talked about, right? So even with everything that's going on, as far as Portugal extending their program, oh, and here it is right here. What did I say earlier? I said about 400,000 to 500,000 euros. So there it is, 500,000. But if you're willing to go into a small town, you can get it for a quarter M. But who wants to live in a small town with 500 people, right? But anyways, so Portugal is actually one of the most easy ones. Greece is an easy one, because the thing about Greece, even though they do have their economic situations that's going on right now, it now may arguably be easier than Portugal, depending on how you look at it. When I say that is there potentially could be less red tape, but then also it's not like now that Portugal is extending their process, it could be, this may be the next hot spot, right? And it says here, applicants must live in Greece for at least 183 days per year. Okay. So what if you did like about that time there, and then you did the rest of the time maybe back in your home country, UK, America, etc., earning that USD or earning that those pounds or whatever your currency is, and then go back over there, right? So you got that. You got Malta. Shout out to Malta, it's an island country right there. And then we got Italy, which people are leaving. Hungary, surprisingly, number 5. Invest a quarter M euros in a government-approved real estate fund with at least 40% of the fund's asset allocated to Hungarian resident property. Or you can just donate 1 million euros. That's it, just 1 million, right? We got Cyprus, Antigua and Barbuda, all these different places. St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, most affordable. Real estate, Grenada. And I have met some people from these island Caribbean countries. The only thing that I'm concerned about when it comes to those countries is that a lot of those people, because the countries are so small, it's kind of like an everyone knows everyone situation. So I would hate to move there and kind of have a target on my back, because people know like, oh, he's just here for the visa situation, or hey, his family's not really from here, so. But let's talk about this right here, right? EU residency permit without relocation. Is it possible? I'm going to show you one of the many reasons why I like Google Gemini. Let's say you don't want to read this whole article. This is a lot just to get to a yes or no. Why would I sit here and read 1 hour, reading time 13 minutes cap? It's going to take at least 20 minutes to read all that, just to get to a simple yes or no. So Google Gemini, if you notice up here in the upper right hand corner, there's a Gemini button. And I'm not using a special browser. So if you use ChatGPT, you got to download Atlas to take advantage of this feature. But let's say you don't want to download an extra browser. You don't know what ChatGPT is doing with your private information. It's a new company. You don't trust it. Google has been around for years. You come right here. I'm using Google Chrome, by the way. And you just hit that button. So you scroll up, hit that Gemini button, and you'll see that pop up here. And pretty much you just talk to it. And it has current tab. So when it has current tab, it's seeing what you're doing. You could always close it if you don't want to share. Like if you're putting personal information, like right here, it asks for full name. You may type your name and number. You don't want it to see it. That's when you close it. And then when you're ready to share again, you hit share. And then you'll know, because you see the blue line around the screen, that it can see everything. So you could be like, summarize this article. So we're going to take the original question. Is EU residence permit without relocating? See, this was the original question. This is why we clicked the article. EU residence permit without relocating, is it possible? Man, summarize it. I don't want to sit here and read this for 20 minutes. I got things to do. I got YouTube videos to make, right? You're a busy person. You got a job to go to. You got interviews, blah, blah, blah. According to the article, obtaining an EU resident permit without relocating is possible through various golden visas. So technically it is possible. And then it goes to talk about the investments. So this is how much you need. Oh, Malta's only 170? Wow, okay. Malta's only 170. But then again, it's super small. Everybody knows everybody. But yeah, that's a cool little feature you can do with Google Gemini. So this is one of the things I say, like, yo, Gemini got it. You know, they know what they're doing. So to answer the question, yes, you can do it. And this one just talks about Hungary and Italy as far as the golden visa there. But that's all. I just want to give you all that brief little summary there. And hey, if you ever want to talk about stuff like this, just let me know on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I use the same username. Haven't been posting too much on TikTok and Instagram lately just because I've been focused on a lot of background stuff in the YouTube world. But very shortly, I am going to be leaving here. But I got to give you all this content. It's been a couple days since I uploaded, so definitely wanted to give you all a little something. I hope y'all have an amazing day.